My next guests are one of the biggest Irish bands on the planet. They've sold 12 million albums, been streamed over 10 billion times, and been wowing audiences for over 20 years. Despite tragically losing their brother in arms and band co-founder Mark last year, they are back with a chart-topping new album, Satellites, and new live dates for their legions of fans. I'm delighted to welcome them back to The Late Late Show. Please give it up for Danny O'Donoghue and Glen Power, the Scripts!
Amazing, thank you guys.
That's great. Great to see you guys. Great to see you with a smile on your face. Welcome back to The Late Late.
Yeah.
Glen, I know this is bittersweet. First time back on the show since Mark passed. How you guys been getting on?
It's been very, very tough. I mean, you know, to go back out again after everything that happened was really tough for us. We weren't sure if we wanted to do it or, you know, how we were going to feel about it. But I know, you know, we had many discussions about it. And I think in the spirit of what Mark was about and what he wanted us to do in the beginning, we knew it was the right thing to do, was to get back out there and give it our all. You know, he was a very proactive, very positive person. I think as well, when I met Mark, I realised he really was the bridge that brought us all together, you know. Because me and Dan were doing, I think if me and Dan hadn't met Mark, we'd probably be still in our bedrooms playing music, thinking it's going to happen someday. Whereas when Mark came along, he definitely, it was kind of like, you know, we're like a transformer. We were all parts of the whole, and you put us together and then you realise what this could be.
And I know from no age, when you were in your teens, Mark was like a big part of your life.
Oh, huge, man. I met him when I think it was 13 or 14. How is actually quite a funny story. I was a big fan of watching American television and breakdancing and all this kind of stuff. And Mark used to teach breakdancing in this place called the Blue Light up in Ballantyre. And it just looked like so much fun. You know, he was at the top of a class. He got 30 girls all hanging on his every dance move and stuff. So I was like, this is great. Yeah, that's for me. So, you know, me as a kid, he kind of took me under his wing and really gave me a lot of confidence. And I started teaching classes then after a few years. We obviously became the best of mates. And he had something I didn't have, and I guess I had something he didn't have. So we kind of traded off, and we've been in very many different bands in various different formats. And the Script was one that just, since we got together when Glen flew over in LA, that it just worked, you know. So like I said, it's bizarre each time we're on something. This is the first time we've been on the show.
It's very
without
buoyant,
him.
to do it.
Yeah.
To not have him here. The last time we performed here in this capacity, we were together. So, you know, even tonight as I was driving down here, I was thinking about that. It's you know, there's not a day goes by we don't think about the guy, because every single thing we do reminds us of him, you know, being with us doing it.
And you had to break the news to Glen.
Yeah. It was just a bizarre. I still can't get over it, you know, to be honest. It's something you never want to do as a person. It's the hardest news and probably the hardest day that I've ever had. Obviously, I lost my mum and dad on Valentine's Day. And, you know, I thought that the worst was over, but all of this stuff that we've kind of built up together as a band, it's like it was life-changing, because we were, like Glen said, we were broke-ass musicians, you know, dealing with people's favours. They were kind of, we were sleeping on couches and just kind of going from gig to gig, not knowing what was going on. But to have it go from rags to riches in the way that it's gone was an absolute dream. And then with Mark's passing, it's just, like I said, I think last year, just turned into the worst nightmare of our lives, you know.
You were saying there, Glen, that Mark always believed that you guys would make it. I mean, did you always believe?
I remember at a party one time I said to Mark, you know, my big thing as a drummer was carrying my drums. I used to just hate having to carry my drums up and down stairs and gigs and stuff. So I said to him, do you think one day I'll have someone set my drums up for me? He's like, I'm telling you now, dude, you stick with this, I'm going to take us all to the top. And here we are in The Late Late Show.
Yeah.
You know, it's true. It's the dream of it as a kid, you know, and here we are, still, you know.
Here you are. I want to take you right back. You're going to sing a song for us from the start. What are you going to play for us?
We'll do probably the one that kicked it all off for us, The Man Who Can't Be Moved. We'll do like a verse and a chorus. If you know it, please sing along. Going back to the corner where I never saw you. Gonna camp in my sleeping bag. I'm not gonna move. I got some words on cardboard. Got your picture in my hand saying, if you see this girl, can you tell her where I am? Some tried, hand me money, but they don't understand. I'm not broke, I'm just a broken-hearted man. I know it makes no sense, but what else can I do? And how can I move on when I'm still in love with you? Cause if one day you wake up and find that you're missing me, and your heart starts to wonder where on this earth I could be, thinking maybe you'll come back here to the place that we meet, and you'll see me waiting for you on the corner of the street. So I'm not moving, I'm not moving, I'm not moving, I'm not moving. There you go.
I mean, wow.
That's the one that's still paying the bills, yeah.
That's the one that's still
A misspent youth. There you go.
Definitely not misspent, Glenn. Definitely not misspent. How difficult was it to decide we're going to pick up the pieces here and we're going to keep on trucking?
Everybody was lost. You know, everybody was really lost at what to do. And we kind of got together and we were talking about what if we continued on, and what if we put a date in for an album? And we were joking around doing it at the time, because what if if the songs hadn't worked out, fine, we just would have had attempted to do something. But what happened was, during that, I didn't realise, but it focused everybody and it gave us all a goal and something to kind of bring us all together. Because even though we're in the band and it's, you know, it's myself and Glen and was Mark, there's a massive team. There's like 30 people that we tour with and our family and have been.
They just do makeup. You know what I mean?
yeah, for him. But yeah, it was 30, you know, nearly 17 years of this family together, and obviously all the fans around the world as well. So started to write. I had writer's block for such a long time because I was trying to think of a lyric about Mark that meant so much to me, and I kind of wrote this lyric, which was like a shooting star across the sky. In a second you were gone, but why do stars that light up twice as bright only burn for half as long? And it was the first time I went, that's it, that's exactly what he meant to me, and I guess what he meant to a lot of people as well. And that kind of sparked, it took almost like a thorn out of my heart, and we just started writing. You know, me and Glen got in the studio, we started writing, and like I said, we were there for a few months, and at the end of it, we had this album that we feel is really, really special, you know, Satellites.
Which was amazing, and, you know, Satellites went to the top of the chart. I mean, when was the moment, Glen, where you thought, we're going to be okay?
Just before this show tonight. No, I'm joking. It was actually a few months into touring. Honestly, for the first few weeks, it didn't feel great, and I just went into this with the kind of, like what Dan is saying, let's, you know, put a date in there and work towards that and see how it feels. And I've realised now that grief is a thing that, you know, it just comes out of the blue and will come at different times. And, you know, my old attitude was, oh, it's something I can just deal with, get over and move on. But it's not. It's something you grow around, but it's always with you. So I think when we had a couple of weeks touring under our belt, I just had, because each night I went out, I just kept looking over and he wasn't there, and it felt terrible. But I just had faith, and I just thought, well, you know what? He'd want you to go on. He'd want you to do what you love. This is what it was all about when we first started. And I thought, we'll reverse it around. Would you want him to go on? I thought, of course I would. So I know he would feel the same. So a couple of weeks into it then, something clicked during a show one night, and I went, oh my God, I felt the old thing. I felt that feeling again, you know? And once you feel that, you know, it helps you get up there again and drive forward.
You know you're doing the right thing.
Exactly. I think that's what, you always know when you're doing the right thing, and there's a little voice in you, I think, that tells you when you're doing the wrong thing, but we ignore it sometimes, you know?
You're going to do another track for us. What are you going to play for us?
At Your Feet, I think was the second single off the new album. I was just going to say that how I wrote the song was I was sitting back watching Match of the Day, and it's hilarious. But I was one of the pundits on Match of the Day turned around and he's like, one of Manchester United's forwards, he's been playing. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Hang your head in shame.
You're not a fan.
He was saying that one of the forwards has been he's been playing with the world on his shoulders, but he should be playing like it's at his feet. And the songwriter in my head just glazed over, and I was like, you got the pad out and started writing the song. But the song is...
So you've got Manchester United being rubbish to thank for this amazing song.
Yeah. There has to be, and balance is restored, you know what I'm saying? What are you clapping at? What are you clapping at?
Clapping too hard at that.
The song is actually it's about the person who's been there for you this whole time, who's held the world off their shoulders, and all you want to do is you want to put it at their feet. The song's called At Your Feet. There are no words to say, but I'll try my best. You're the church where I was blessed. You're the altar where I confess, oh yes, endless of my heart, now until it's over, carrying the world up there on your shoulders, universe apart, in everything you do, the north that's true is always you, endless of my heart, the hardest part is over. Don't you think the stars look a little closer? Wish I could hold the world like you did for me. I'll take it off your shoulders and lay it at your feet. At your feet. At your feet. At your feet.
At your feet. And they're still missing 3 yards.
Goal, yeah.
They still miss. Glenn, you guys have been touring with Pink.
Yes.
For a wee while there. What was the crack with that?
For us to get out and have that exposure and to go around America is just such a blessing, and we're so grateful at this stage of our careers to get to step up into that place. And honestly, the best part for me was watching Danny in her harness flying around.
Well, we got a wee clip of this. This is Danny. This is Danny in Pink's harness.
Oh. Holy shit, what's ahead?
Oh shit. See, everyone thinks what I do is easy.
You did it! Come on! Come on! You did flips! It's so fun, right?
I've got so much more respect for you now that I've actually tried to do it. Can you feel I'm shaking?
Looks, right?
I'm actually shaking.
It's so fun. You did great, though.
When she found out that I'd been saying, like, how hard could it be, all this kind of stuff, and she was like, all right.
Oh, then there you go.
Now, mother effer, let's get up.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was going warp speed past that, and she said that was going at least 10 times slower than she does it as well. I was like, to add injury to insult there.
There you go.
But very, very impressive.
This year you've put a bit of a change in your life. I know last Christmas was a bit of an epiphany moment for you.
I guess Christmas time, it kind of leads back into the grief thing. I was getting on the plane, and I knew that Dublin was going to be triggering for me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to come back for Christmas, and I'm going to just be sober the whole Christmas. I'd had some JDs on the plane, and then I pretty much spent the rest of the Christmas drunk, because it was really difficult for me to deal with being back in Dublin and seeing everybody for the first time since Mark passed away. And I kind of ruined Christmas for myself, you know, and then on the 27th of December, I just said, enough is enough. And I just knocked the drink on the head. Went back in training again. I used to box and do kickboxing as well. So I just went back in training, was training 3 times a week, and then sparring on a Sunday. And I've been off the drink now 10 months, all the way through. Thank you. Well, to be honest, I like having this platform to say it on. If you're drinking on grief, you're not getting over the grief, you're just kicking it down the road. There's so many important decisions that we have to make moving forward that affects everybody's lives, my family, Mark's family, his family moving forward. And if you don't give it the respect that it needs and don't process these emotions stone cold sober, you're in for a car crash down the end, you know?
I mean, you made that decision a long time ago now. What is it, 13 years or?
13 years ago, yeah. I was in Australia, I was in a hotel room, I was on my own, and I was quite afraid because I felt so bad. And I thought, what would this life be like if I didn't feel sick anymore? I used to wake up hungover, I used to go to bed and pretty hungover, and I just woke up one day and said, let's give this a try. The booze thing for me, a lot of people go, oh, you're Irish, I bet when you go home, it's, you know, it's an Irish problem, it's this. It's not an Irish problem, it's an internal problem. No matter where I am in the world, there I am. I have to deal with myself. So for me, I just wanted to figure out what would it like to grow up and to become myself. And I'm still growing up and becoming myself, but I'm just not hurting myself as much as I used to, you know? Yeah. And again, I don't judge anybody. Have a drink, do what you want, but if it starts to hurt you, everybody else around you, maybe you need to rethink it. And for me, it started hurting me and started really worrying my mum and dad. And I think one of the biggest gifts I gave them was not ringing them at 3 in the morning. Out of my mind, falling over, and they were hearing things crashing and all. They were so happy when I stopped, and it's been great. I mean, I've still made mistakes, not drinking. You still do stupid things, and you still have to work some stuff out. But I think, you know, it's the greatest, second greatest gift. The first being my son, the second getting sober. Yeah.
Before we let you go, we have to say congratulations to you, dear boy, on your engagement.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. He's off the market.
Yeah. You got the picture. Yeah. I went to Norway.
So how'd you guys meet, by the way?
You know, everyone has been on these dating apps. We met on the street. I was walking in the street in London, and I'd walked past her, and I thought I'd left it a gentlemanly amount of time to turn around and check her out. And I turned around and she was checking me out as well. So we kind of like, yeah, and we swapped phone numbers and stuff and arranged to meet, and we had a date. And we had a date. We went on the date, and then we went to a graveyard of all places, and we kissed in the graveyard. And she's been in my life, and we've been by each other's side every day since.
Brilliant news. Brilliant news. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to play us out. With one of your biggest hits. Tell us what you're going to play for us.
Hall of Fame. Yeah.
You can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the wall, you can talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock, you can move mountains, you can break rocks, you can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world gonna know your name, 'cause you burn with the brightest flame. And the world's gonna know your name, oh yeah. You should be on the walls of the halls of fame. Be a champion, you can be a champion. You can be a champion, 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 and you be on the walls of the halls of fame.
There you go, the Scripts. The Scripts' new album, Satellites, is available now. They have just announced they will play Thomond Park in Limerick on the 12th of July. All Orange Men welcome. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. You can find out more details on thescriptmusic.com.